Don't you have anyone to practice English with? Practice speaking English all by yourself. It's easy to practice speaking. If you don't live in an English-speaking country and you don't have friends or family to speak English with, where can you practice your English-speaking skills? So, you are all by yourself, forever alone. How can you practice speaking English without anybody else to help you? To improve your spoken English, the best thing to do is to talk with a native speaker. Sometimes we don't have that option though. What if you don't know anyone who speaks English? What if you don't have time? What if you simply don't feel confident enough yet to practice with a native? Don't worry, you can still improve your spoken English even without a speaking partner. There are 3 tips for improving your spoken English without a speaking partner. 1. Talk to yourself. Whenever you are at home or alone somewhere else, you can practice your English with yourself. If you are already thinking in English, try speaking your thoughts out loud. Read out loud too. Practice is practice, and even if you don't have anyone to correct your mistake, just the act of speaking out loud will help you become more comfortable speaking English. 2. Think in English. Sometimes the difficult thing is about talking new language isn't the language itself, but how you think about it. If you think in your native language and then try to speak English, you always have to translate between languages. Translating is not an easy thing to do. Even people fluent in 2 or more languages have trouble switching between languages. The solution is to think in English. 3. Work with visual aids. To think in English, do not use a textbook. Use visual aids, so you don't have to translate from your native tongue when you speak English. Look at the following picture story. Think about who is involved, where is the place, and what's happening, and so on.
Ron needed some extra money. Collecting action comic books was his hobby, and new comics were not cheap. Ron saw all his friends with the new issues of October's action comic stories. This upset Ron and made him also feel angry because all his friends had more comics than him. Ron asked his mother for a little extra money, but she said, "If you want money for comics, you will have to earn it for yourself."
If you are his mother, what would you like to say? So, you can practice speaking English without anybody else to help you. 1. Talk to yourself. 2. Think in English. 3. Work with picture stories.
Stop, dear. Stop for a moment. Franny stopped. You have so many questions for me. I want to know, Grandma. Franny looked upset, and so Grandma Bender rubbed Franny's back to relax her. Franny, dear, she said consolingly, I think you must understand something very important about life. It's full of questions. And it's good to question your beliefs, dear, but one at a time. You can't question them all in one day. Be patient. Answers will come to you, and some might never come. Franny still looked a little bit upset, even though her grandmother's words had somewhat soothed her. Why don't you start with one question today, dear, and I'll try to answer it for you. Franny thought deep and hard, and then decided to ask the one question that had started all her worries. Grandma, is there really no Easter Bunny? Grandma Bender laughed gently at Franny and gave her a big hug.